It's confusing that there's a coral and a coal.
This whole movie, like the minute it started and the people started talking, I'm like, oh, this is a Doug movie.
Yeah.
Yep.
Well,
And
before we start shitting on Doug for making us watch this film, this is Slashers, your favorite horror podcast about your favorite horror mediums or larges. You know, AIDS here. Today, I have with me my favorite. I
huh,
was just kidding.
yeah.
Wow.
Mm.
I was talking about your breast. It's a compliment.
One, two, three, four. Just trying to stay alive. Some days I wanna die, but I don't wanna say goodbye.
Today with me are my favorite co-hosts, cohorts, and coconuts. We have Adrian, and
Hi.
I wasn't sure if you were gonna say anything or not. She's still looking at me with those. She's looking at me like I'm a taco stand. And our special guest. Actually, fuck it. He's not even a guest anymore. We have Austin. He's been sleeping on the couch for the past couple of years. He's already just here.
I'm here. I've showed up to the party. I'm tired, but I'm here. I'm here. And I should be here because I was the one that recommended it. I don't think Doug recommended this. I'm pretty sure I did.
Ooh, so
No,
you're in trouble.
Yeah, I'm in.
you recommended this, Austin, but when I was watching it, I was like, oh, this is a Doug movie.
Oh, for sure. This has
And
Doug.
then oh yeah. And then I messaged Doug and I was like, you need to be on this episode. And then he sends a picture back of all of his 25,000 copies in different formats that he has of this film. So clearly he's already known about this movie, which we should have known that.
Yeah.
Yeah, so whatever.
Yeah.
I thought, Mikey, you said you liked it though. Didn't someone
What?
said they liked it, or was that Doug?
I'm about to
Doug loves
explain
it.
that statement. This was before Doug even knew what we were doing. Because you said we should do Auntie Lee's meat pies. And I thought it was a movie I saw last year called Halloween at Aunt Ethel's.
Oh,
And Halloween at Aunt Ethel's is a really cheesy skin flick that is cool because it's like a Halloween movie. It's not good, better than this one, but it's a fun time. And so I was like, oh, let's do that. I liked that movie. And then when I finally looked, like, I was like, where is it streaming? And I saw the poster. I was like, oh, that's not what I thought it was.
damn it! I got so excited. Damn it!
Have you seen this before? What movie did you just grab from your little collection over there? Show us.
Oh, he has it.
Of course he does. Look, he's
that
a
hot
pervert.
booty on the back.
See?
Mm. Well, I will say that the women in this film are very beautiful. Like they all look really good.
Maybe with some conditioner in their hair, they'd be pretty.
Well,
But
it was the early 90s. What do you expect?
it was 1992, and as Aid is implying, we are reviewing the 1992 film Auntie Lee's Meat Pies, which is directed by Joseph R. Robertson and written by Joseph F. Robertson, written by Joseph Robertson and Gerald Stein, produced by Gerald Stein. So, yes, this is the early 90s. This is Karen Black, who is usually really pretty also, but this is its own pandemic, is this hair that we have with these poor ladies. These beautiful ladies and this damn I stuck my finger in electrical outlet hair.
I think Fawn had nice hair.
Well, no, it's a little fried.
Wait,
I know
the main blonde one.
Fawn, yeah.
Austin.
Yeah, but Austin likes white girls. You have to remember that.
Let's also pretend that
I don't discriminate. I like
pretend
any
that Austin was
girl.
looking at her hair. Everybody.
Oh yeah.
Don't ask me the color of fucking anything.
Yeah,
not only was her hair
was
bleached
fried,
to death,
yeah.
it was fried, dyed, and ready to
69.
party like a zombie.
It should have been like the grill for the meat pies, my opinion. But she had great boobs. They all had great boobs.
They all had really pretty bodies.
Yeah, they look great. I thought they
I
looked
will-
fabulous.
I will say Magnolia is probably the prettiest one, in my opinion. I thought in the beginning, for a split second, I was like, is that, what's her name? Danica. Do you know who I'm talking about?
No, it's not Danica McKellar.
It looked like
No,
her.
not from the Wonder Years / Hallmark, who was also at the 90s convention, but I ran out of money, so I couldn't go see her. But yeah, she would never. Oh my God.
Well, I know.
Oh.
I was also like, she's probably like 5 in this time, so it's probably not her. Maybe
Yeah,
her
she was a
relative, I don't
kid.
know.
Yeah, that was when the Wonder Years was on, I think, right? Like,
Yeah,
she was
but they
still a
both
kid.
have those, like, I mean, as an adult, she has similar hair, the doe eyes. I actually
Mhm.
don't know what her body looks like. She hasn't really been anything to show it off.
She
But
works
this,
out. I follow her on Instagram. She's got a cute body.
yeah,
She's
um,
modest.
yeah, which there's nothing wrong with not being modest, ladies. I am the queen of immodesty. But let's just say
Exactly.
these women do not have modesty in their top
No.
concerns.
Mm-mm.
But in the film, we have Karen Black as the titular, get it? Because tits.
Ta-da.
Auntie Lee. We have Pat Morita as Chief Coal.
Fucking Mr.
Who is-
Miyagi.
Oh,
Oh, sorry.
okay. No,
Sorry.
Austin, go ahead. No,
Sorry.
go ahead and host
I'll
the
shut
show,
up.
Austin. Go. You come on my podcast and Kanye West me.
Well,
I never
mean,
thought I'd
okay.
feel like Taylor Swift before, but
I'm the problem.
Uh,
It's me. Sorry.
just
Mm.
kidding. Go ahead, Ada. What were you gonna say?
No, I was just gonna say that when I was watching the opening credits, because I knew nothing about this movie except for when Austin told me to watch it, and I saw Pat Morita, I go, "Oh my God, Mr. Miyagi's in it!" And then
Mhm.
to find out that Mr. Miyagi doesn't talk like Mr. Miyagi in real life,
Childhood
I go,
ruined.
I have I have a lot of problems there.
But yeah,
Anyway,
Pat Morita, Mr. Miyagi, is basically the town sheriff of this film. We have Christine Rose as Fawn, who is probably the main. I don't even know if they're really her nieces, but she has 4 nieces, quote unquote, who go
Yeah.
lure men to her house. Fawn is probably the main one, which is, what was her name? Christine Rose. And then we have Ava Fabian as my favorite, Magnolia. Terry Weigel as Coral, and Pia Reyes as Sky. The film also has a very known Michael Berryman as Larry, who kind of plays like the groundskeeper. Is that how you would?
Yeah,
Call
he's kind of like a goof, which is like not really typical for him. But yeah, he's kind of a doof. Yeah, he's like, I guess, like their helper. Yeah, like handyman,
Yeah,
something like that.
handyman, helper. He's definitely like, because the film is about women who bring men back to Auntie Lee's house. She sells these pies nationwide. Everyone loves them. Yada yada. Tale as old as time. They're made of people. And it wasn't the first one to do it. I think it was Motel Hell probably the first one to.
yeah. Well, I mean, the film does admit to borrowing from Sweeney Todd and from Motel Hell. In fact, it's the same house for Motel Hell.
Yep.
Yeah.
Which
Which
is
special
funny.
shout out from Doug. Doug is very sad he couldn't be here, but he does
Yeah.
want us to say that he loves this movie. He co-signs this episode, and that Motel Hell had the same location.
Yes. And he had more to say. Should we say his quote now or wait for the ending?
Go ahead and say his quote. Let's get him out of the way. Ugh.
Ah, my Dougie, my Duke.
We miss
And
Douglas.
I know I miss hearing his voice. I'm so sad. Okay, let me see here. Pulling it up now.
I think it's funny
Ah,
too because Motel Hell is also about the cannibals. So they filmed 2 movies about like cannibals in the same place, which is awesome.
Yeah, I
So-
actually haven't seen Motel Hell.
It's really good. It's a good one. It's another Doug movie.
I mean, you like this one, so it's questionable. Go ahead,
I
Aiden.
think we should have done Motel Hell, in my opinion. But anyways, this is really fucked up, this one. But we'll talk about that in a minute. So Doug says, "Ugh, let the podcast know I support this movie. It's boobage, anal camel toe, and weird casting choices. Plus, it's filmed in the same Motel Hell location too."
Mhm.
So
So
thank you, Douglas.
my favorite thing, because he says anal camel toe,
So
Yeah, and-
because the girl's butt's coming out the back of the.
Yeah, in the
Thank you,
cover.
Austin.
Thank you, Austin. We have that happening. But also what I found really funny is in the beginning, Magnolia has a car. She's filling up and she loves to service herself. She doesn't want full service in this full service gas station. And she's wearing this dress and it's very windy. And it's actually it's a skirt, not a dress, excuse me. And it's barely anything. And the wind's like it's like up. Like literally she's just
Fully.
walking around in her panties. And
Mm.
I thought it was the funniest thing while they're having a conversation seeing that on the bottom of the screen. And like sometimes I think in these movies they're like, we're gonna have the wind kind of blow it up. So it's like a little sexy, you're really provocative. I don't think they meant to do it that much because I can't. It must have been so hard for those actors to keep a straight face when her panties are just out on display and the small little handkerchief she has as a skirt is flying straight up. That was
And
funny.
and this was after. Okay, so mind you, this is after the beginning. The beginning of the film has nothing to do with anything, right? Except to set up the fact. So there's like a hitchhiker.
Mhm.
He's already killed somebody. He's on the side of the road. He's pissed off. And then a priest drives by and the priest picks him up and he shoots the priest in the head. Then the car crashes. Then he gets out and then he hitchhikes with Magnolia
Yeah.
and rapes her.
I
And
was
then
wondering if that's what happened because
Yeah,
it
is
was
that
a
what
very
happened?
weird.
Because
Yeah.
he was barely moving. He was just like, I'm like, are
They
you
were both fully clothed and he was lying on top of her. And
barely
after
moving?
2 seconds, he was like, oh. I was like, okay.
well, and then he needed a nap. And so, I'm like, oh my God. And that's when I knew. I'm like, I can't, what am I going to do with this movie? Rapes her. She stabs him in the head with a letter opener. What the hell did she stab him in the head with? I don't even know. Thank God.
It looked like knitting needles. That's what it looked like. She like pulled it out of her hair. I don't even fucking know where that came from.
Where, yeah, she
And-
pulled out of her panties or something. I don't know, something, and she, boop, which was
Yeah.
cute. Then she has her perfectly folded body bag in the back of the car, as you do. And
She just
And
throws it in the
then,
back seat too. I love that. Just like it's back seat, fine. Throw the convertible up. Let's get the fuck on.
Oh yeah,
So-
and she tells she's like, what was I supposed to do? He was like 250 pounds. Like, well, you got him in the car somehow.
Just
That's
flops
what
them
I'm
on
saying.
in there.
how did she could get him off? And she's like, but I got him in the car. And then, of course, Auntie Lee was very excited at the fact that he was 250 pounds because that's good
More
meat.
That's
Yeah.
good eating.
Good.
Well, before I didn't really know what this movie was about when I turned it on. It was giving me, even though it was a 92 film, it was giving very 70s. It reminded me of Preacher Man,
Oh, it did remind me of Preacher
that
Man.
other movie that I didn't enjoy.
No, yeah, that sucks.
Yeah. So it had that weird 70s vibe, but a 90s look. Can't explain it any other way. But she does, and I think she even jokes about being raped later. And I was like, did I hear that correctly?
She does. She's like, I kind of liked it.
she's
like-
she's a mess.
Hot mess.
And before the podcast, I made y'all shut up because it's conversation for the podcast. But y'all were saying it seems like a trauma movie, which that joke is kind of trauma-y, but the quality kind of reminds me of a Full Moon movie.
Okay.
This trauma tends
I-
to be a little trashy. Full Moon is less trashy, more cheesy and sexual.
It's very cheesy, and the thing is while it reminds me of a trauma, and even I can see where you get Full Moon. I obviously with the added, bonus of Karen Black in this film and Michael Berryman,
Mhm.
I really feel like this was the inspiration to every Rob Zombie film because clearly he's using the same actors, right? And it's the same vibe where it feels very 70s and it's not. And
Oh, yeah.
so, you know, and I'm watching this shit and I'm like, oh my fucking God. Because everyone likes to, and I love Rob Zombie. I have nothing against him. And I watch all of his films. I think they're great. I have nothing like the only one I don't care for is El Super Beasto, which is probably Doug's favorite. But like, I thought like he's being original. He's not that original. The only difference is that this is more comedic, whereas I think that even with the House of a Thousand Corpses, there's a lot more mean-spiritedness to it.
Yeah.
So I think that therein lies the difference of the tonal shifts, but pretty much these are the same movies. I feel like this feels like very House of a Thousand Corpses. Like they lure the men in and they get them and they seduce them and they might have a little sex and then they kill them as you do, and you move on with your life.
So basically, this is a documentary about praying mantises.
Yeah.
But actually, I just realized I was like, oh, Karen Black is in both of those. Right?
Yes, she's Mama Firefly, but she
Mama
passed
Firefly.
away sadly before Devil's Rejects. It's just why she does not play her in the second one.
Yeah, it was like 2013, I think. I was like, I didn't even realize it had been that long. It's been 10 years. I was like, oh, that's why. Okay, I was like, that's why she wasn't in Three from Hell, because I was looking into that earlier.
Yeah, she wasn't in Three from Hell or Devil's Rejects because she died before the movie came out. So
Okay.
You
No,
know,
she was in
for
Devil's
the
Rejects.
longest time,
She was at the
No,
beginning of Devil's Rejects. Yeah.
no,
it's a different
the
actress.
different actress who plays
Oh.
her. Yeah,
Whoa. Okay. Weird.
yeah.
Yeah. For the longest time, sorry, my dog just farted.
It's okay.
For the
Stella does that all the time.
yeah, we have the flat-nosed dogs. They swallow air. This is what happens. For the longest time, I thought Mama Firefly was who's the blonde lady that had a
On.
resurgence
Oh.
because of White
Vaughn?
Lotus.
Oh.
No, Mama Firefly in House of a
White
Thousand Corpses.
Lotus. Oh no,
Jennifer
Jennifer
Coolidge. I thought it
Coolidge?
was Jennifer Coolidge for the longest time.
You
But
know
only in
what?
House of a Thousand Corpses.
Oh.
Not I don't think Karen Black looks like her, but in House of a Thousand Corpses, she looks like Jennifer Coolidge with black
She's
hair.
very Jennifer Coolidge in there. Oh my God, that is so true. Rob Zombie, we need to make this happen.
Yeah.
Jennifer Coolidge needs to be in a Rob Zombie film. Oh my
The
God,
next
I would
Mama
die.
Firefly.
The next Mama Fly, she survived getting gutted in her vagina with that knife, and she's ready to go. They sewed her back up.
You don't need a vagina to live. I will say, I think this is the first time I've actually seen Michael Berryman speak in a movie. Is that just me?
No, he talks in all the movies.
Yeah, Hills Have Eyes. He does. I don't.
And
He
Hills
talks
Have
in
Eyes.
Hills Have Eyes?
Yeah, he speaks a lot. Yeah.
The original one.
He
Maybe I just wasn't paying attention. I think
I mean,
maybe because
he's
I'm
a-
used to him visually.
yeah, and he talks in Devil's Rejects because remember he gets all upset. He's like, "You ain't fucking these chickens, are you?"
Oh yeah, he's like, I'm not a chicken fucker.
Chicken fucker. Like,
Or maybe it's because he actually talks. Yeah. I knew he was from the Hills Have Eyes. I just don't remember him speaking. But in
Gotcha,
Devil's
gotcha.
Rejects, did he talk
yeah, he speaks
normally?
like, yeah.
Yeah, he was normal. Yeah, that's why I thought it was so weird in this one, because he was kind of like goofy and not
Yeah.
how he
He
normally.
never, yeah, he plays an invalid, slow,
Yeah.
mentally challenged person in this one, but he's usually very with it and everything else he's in, which I thought was interesting. So
Yeah.
okay.
Yeah, so he basically is their cleaner. They bring men in, kill them, and then he disposes of their cars. He fixes all the women's cars, but like he disposes of whatever he needs to, and like the remains of the very spirit Halloween skeleton and gore leftovers he has to dispose of. And I think one of the things that also makes me feel like this is kind of a 70s movie is the audio of this movie is very strange. It's very almost like ADR. I feel like everything's ADR in this movie.
It seems like it, yeah.
It's very the audio seems detached from the video. I don't know. I can't explain it. But it's a pretty simple movie. They want to eat these men. That's their secret recipe for their pies. And then they disperse it out into the local restaurants. I like whenever, I think it's Fawn. Yeah, when we first meet Fawn, she's giving Pasquale, which I was like, isn't that the Chuck E. Cheese chef?
Yeah.
She's giving him the meat pies for him to sell, and Mrs. Pasquale's there, and she's mentioned something about modesty or something of Fawn not
Yeah.
having it. But
Yeah, and
also,
then he stacks up the
Huh.
pies in front of her. That was great. He hands her the pies
Yeah.
and she starts stacking them on top of him, and she can't see her anymore. I was like, that's fucking great.
she reminds me of like the woman from the poster of, is it American Gothic with the pitchfork?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's what she looked like.
Well, yeah, she called her a harlot or something. I forget. Yeah, and it was funny. That part was really funny.
Yeah, it's a
Um,
cheesy movie, but Fawn, she's a little bit of a cheesy actress, so it kind of fits. But I
Well,
can't tell if she's a bad actress on purpose.
no, I don't. I just don't think she's very experienced because she was. I looked at her bio on IMDb, and apparently she was like a Playboy model. So.
yeah, all
Okay.
of them were Playboy bunnies at some
Oh
point.
shit. Okay, all of them were. Okay.
Well,
Yeah.
the only ones I felt that, well, actually, the only one that could really act was Magnolia, because,
Yeah.
and then what's her name, the other brunette. I was looking at their resumes, and she just did like porn, like
Oh my
straight up
God.
porn.
Sounds about right. Yeah, because
Yeah,
you
that-
had Christine Rose, and then Ava Fabian as Magnolia, and then Terry Weigel as Coral. And who was the Asian one or whatever she was?
The Filipino one.
Filipina girl, yeah.
She was Petra. No, not Petra.
Pia
Reyes.
Reyes, yeah.
Yeah,
Oh,
I
and
thought
then
she was
Petra,
Asian. I mean, I know Philippines is like considered Asian, but she looked like Japanese or something. And when I was reading about it, I was like, oh, she's actually Filipino.
yeah, that makes sense. Well, she's Tanner. And then Petra Verkaik as baby. So that was another thing that reminded me of House of a Thousand Corpses and Devil's Rejects because baby is, Sherry Moon
yeah.
Zombie.
Yep.
So I'm like, did he fucking like just take everything and run with it?
Even took
I don't
Karen
know.
Black too.
Mm-hmm. Karen Black
It's
and
a-
Michael Berryman.
What was
Yeah,
the
I
deal
very
with baby though? Like, what
strange.
was that? They didn't really go into that at all. She was just part of the family. I didn't really understand. Was she just there to kill people? Anybody?
She was one of the nieces.
Why
Oh,
was she in a crib?
yeah. Why was she like? I just
The
didn't
full
understand.
grown woman in a crib.
I
Drinking
think
a
she was
huge bottle.
I think she was a little slow. I don't know what the issue was with that. But then she ate people and then I don't know. It was like
I don't know.
this whole thing was a mess.
To me, this
I
is
gotta-
just the prequel to Where Evil Lurks, and it makes more sense to me. If you've seen
Oh
it, you'll
my
understand why.
oh my
The movie came out October 21st, 1992. Not that I feel like it needs to happen around Halloween, because this is hardly a horror movie, but sure, you could have watched it during Halloween in 1992. The competition in October is Dr. Giggles, Alex's Apartment, Candyman, and Critters 4. As we all know, the king of all these films is Dr. Giggles. Now, the rest of the year, I'm just kidding.
well no, but we've actually covered Dr. Giggles on the show, so
Yeah, but I'm pretty sure Candyman is taking the cake for the best horror film that year.
oh,
or that
oh yeah,
month.
definitely. That
Um,
month for sure, yeah.
The rest of the year, Army of Darkness, Buffy the Vampire Slayer, Children of the Corn 2, Death Becomes Her, Stephen King's Sleepwalkers, Pet Cemetery 2, Dracula, Demonic Toys, Tetsuo 2, Hellraiser 3, 976, Evil 2, Stepfather 3, Alien 3, Innocent Blood, Hand That Rocks the Cradle, Waxwork 2, and Single White Female.
That's a solid list of movies. Wow.
It is,
Well,
and I
A lot of
you
good
know what,
ones that
maybe
year,
this is-
yeah.
Yeah, I don't know if I highly doubt this came out in theaters. But this is probably like during the time when we were kids and we'd go to Blockbuster and our parents would be like, I've never even heard of that movie. And we'd rent it. That's probably what happened to this one. What we now call straight to video.
Oh, it definitely was straight to video with this one. I think they filmed it in 1990. It aired at some festival in 91, and then it went straight to VHS in 92. So it wasn't meant to be anything spectacular.
Yeah, because really the only thing that's kind of level with it quality wise, no shade, is Demonic Toys. Because you have you know, Candyman, you have Buffy the Vampire Slayer, even Army of Darkness, which is cheesy, has higher.
Oh,
for
a higher
sure.
production value
sure.
for sure. Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. I actually am not certain about Children of the Corn 2. I don't think I've seen it. So I don't know if that was
Oh,
that
it's
straight to video
actually
or is that
very
theater?
good.
Yeah, it's a lot of fun, honestly. It's like, what is it? The final sacrifice? Is that what
It
it's
was good, yeah, because I remember Jason was talking about them. So I just, I was home that day because I was invalid with my arm and I watched them all. And I'm like, part two is actually very good. I was very surprised. I was shocked.
doesn't
And
there does the kid go through a windshield or a window in a wheelchair? Is that one? I'm pretty
I,
I'm pretty
did
sure
he,
That's
someone
Friday
gets
the 13th, part 4, Austin.
first of all, it's part
yeah.
when he goes down the stairs. God.
No, it's the old lady. The old lady goes through the window
Yeah.
in her
Oh, okay,
wheelchair.
okay. Yeah, in the wheelchair. Yeah. Great movie.
Yeah.
Great time.
But and then the chick from the episode of Seinfeld where George was a quote marine biologist. She's actually the star in that movie. So if you like Seinfeld, watch Children of the
Yes.
Corn Part 2.
I forgot about that. That's hilarious.
Look at Mikey's face. Okay, I'm sorry. Lo siento mucho. Continue.
Party. Anyways, the film runs 100 minutes. It's too damn long. This should be a 75-minute film.
What happened? What was okay, you guys remember the ending, right? What the
No.
fuck was going on at the ending? Because I know I had a couple glasses of wine, but I was so lost and so confused and just like,
Yeah.
So
I-
the cop like figures out is like getting onto them about the murders, and then they stick his hand into the um fucking disposal, and they like set it up and they go, and then it's just like the end, and then it's them like taking his body and cutting it up, and they're like, you guys
no, before that.
Are you talking about the men?
Like the fever dream, kind of like they're in this, like, yeah, they're in like
As
this
soon as baby comes
darkness
out?
and all of this shit's going on. There's neon colors
Oh, that was
and
one of the bedrooms of one of the girls. They all had like crazy bedrooms.
Yeah, I
okay.
think because so what happens is the beginning of this movie has way too much because I noticed I paused it and it was halfway done, and then I watched the rest of it, and when at the halfway mark of 100 minutes, that's almost it's almost an hour. So at that point, the group of guys hasn't even shown up yet, and
Yeah.
the bulk of story and like what you find out happens with the guys. And so there's a group of guys that break down and the girls bring them to the house. And this is when you find out that they're devil worshippers. Because in the beginning, you get Auntie Lee kind of giving Magnolia shit for missing Sunday service, which we automatically think is, typical church because we all heard the term Sunday service. And she's like, okay, I'll never do it again. Sorry. So it kind of like plants seeds that there's something religious going on here. But then on the latter half of the movie, you figure out they're actually Satanists. And I guess this is why they're doing that. And I think that's why it all goes wackadoodle because they're really trying to play up the Satanist thing when really they should have cut out a lot of the beginning and stretched out the story of the guys being in their house to be longer. So it's not so discombobulated, in my opinion.
Yeah, pacing was a little weird in this one.
Well, I agree because like I said, the very beginning makes no sense with the rest of the film.
Yeah.
Like, why introduce this random guy murdering people? Like, okay, great. We don't care that he dies, but does it even matter? Like, he's not part of the story. Why does he have anything to do with it?
Yeah, and why did he go? His car breaks down, and then he turns into this like killing maniac. That was such a weird choice for them to
No,
do.
he had already hijacked the car because there was a body in the car. The guy was dying. I forget.
Okay, I
It
missed
was
that
a whole
part then.
thing. Yeah,
Okay.
and like that's what I'm saying. Like, why do we have a whole fucking story over here when we've got this going on over here? So that's bothered me. But what I did like and I thought was irrelevant was when the private investigator was on the phone in Pat Morita's office, and Pat
Oh,
Morita comes in and he drops his keys,
Oh,
and the
yeah.
guy just picks his keys up and throws them, and then he puts his hat down and he like throws the hat, and I'm like, motherfucker, you are in his goddamn desk. Get your ass up. And I was so annoyed.
oh my.
But I was laughing the whole time. Like, what is
Yeah.
going on? Why are we having this scene?
Did you notice how subtly racist that scene was though? Because they walk in and it's playing like
All
Asian
this music.
and then
Yeah.
he's
And
got
the
a bonsai
paintings.
tree in the background. He's got samurai swords. I was like, this is so subtly racist. I was like, yes, we get it. He's an Asian man. You don't have to go like that hardcore, guys. Oh my god.
And then he talks like this. And I'm like, oh my God, Mr. Miyagi. And then he even mentions that he was on the other side of the war. So where did your accent go if you were Japanese during Hiroshima?
Right.
I don't even know. Whatever. Total fucking clusterfuck who wrote this?
Stephen F. fucking Fitzgerald. What was
Whatever. This motherfucker.
I had it earlier. Oh, Joseph F. Robertson and
Yeah.
Gerald Stein. Please come on the show. Actually, we're fine. I don't need to talk about
Please,
this.
Sam. I'm good. It was
But-
cute.
It was fine. There's a lot of movies that, regardless of which order they came out in, we know it wasn't the first one. We know it goes all the way back to Sweeney Todd, as we covered last month. Tale as Old as Time. Wasn't being facetious when I said that. It didn't really bring anything new. I think they tried too much to depend on the satanic aspect of it to kind of be like, ooh, cool. And the boobs, which, don't get me wrong, I'm gay, but I love a good pair. But there's hardly any. There's a lot of cleavage, but there's hardly any actual boobs.
Not till like the end, and it's like they're all in the dark.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Sorry, Austin.
I mean, yeah, and then there's an assault in the beginning, and we just kind of play it off like it's a joke. And I'm like,
I mean, she joked about it, so
she did. And then, oh yeah, that was the bruise. She's like, oh, her swelling went down. She's like, I actually kind of like it. I'm like, oh my God.
yeah, like
Oh
having
my.
her face fuller. She's a dang mess. This was obviously written
Yeah.
by men, and
Clearly.
I actually made my first mental note was, did he rape her?
Yeah,
Because
that
I don't
was
know.
I was like, I don't.
It was
know.
very strange.
I mean, she was enjoying something happening. She was like, oh. I'm like,
Yeah,
oh my
I mean,
God.
I'm not looking for like them to elaborate on it, but at least like let's be clear about what's going on, because
Right.
it looked like he just may have fallen asleep on top of her and then got off.
Well, that's
Um,
how most men
Oh,
do it. So that's fine.
oh, oh, oh.
I'm sorry. That was rude of me.
Well, when
I'm
you
sorry,
look this
gentlemen.
good, it's hard for them to last longer than 3 seconds. Um,
I'm gonna give you the best 2 minutes of your life. Better watch
Oh
out.
my God, what a mess. This
Um,
this whole movie is a fucking mess. We're gonna call Magnolia mess. And then how are we putting all these groceries on Auntie Lee's tab? Does she ever pay the tab?
I was thinking the same thing.
I don't know, but she fills everybody's tummy with meat
It-
pies, so maybe that's why
Yeah.
they forgive her.
I mean, they put the gas on the tab, they put the groceries on the tab, they put the booze on the tab. Anything else on Auntie Lee's tab? Like, God
The
damn
peroxide
it.
for their hair, obviously.
The
You know what's
bad-
not on
the
Auntie
perm
Lee's
kit.
tab? Conditioner.
Do they have a
They-
stylist in town? I don't think they do.
And then they try to act like this was like some podunk ass town. I'm like, you're in California. Like, get over yourself. Like, you are not. Oh my God.
Oh,
Like, I
and
get-
let's do a special shout out for that amazing special of beheading scene of the saucy vegetarian that I was like,
Yes.
I don't understand. Were vegetarians around in the 90s? Like,
Like, why is that even relevant? One and two, you could clearly tell the thing, and he's like,
oh yeah. He like his head's like in the shirt. I'm like, this is
Oh,
very
yeah.
strange. And
Oh,
she's
yeah.
like, you must be hungry. I can whip you something up. He's like, well, Fern, I probably gotta tell you, I'm a vegetarian. She's like, whatever turns you on. I'm like, oh my God, what the fuck are they talking about? And then she's like, I can whip you up something I'm sure would even make vegetarian, whatever. And then she just beheads him.
well, and
Fuck you
this
for being
none
a
of that made any sense because, like, she brings the bottle of wine out. I'm like, oh, yay, that's fun. So maybe she can have fun with it before she eats it. So she brings out the bottle of wine, and then he's like, oh, where's the glasses? And she's like, oh, it's in here. So you're gonna make your guest get the glasses? Like,
yeah, because she's gonna kill him.
I know, but like, I don't know any man on this planet to be like, okay, I'm gonna pour some wine. I don't even think Dan knows how to use the wine key. So
Well, that's
The
not
what?
surprising. Let's.
What?
Oh,
All right.
he's home.
What are they selling?
Yeah, and he's in his underwear, Mikey, so you might get a show
Ooh.
later.
Oh, I want to see that meat pie.
Definitely not today.
Mikey says he wants to see your meat pie.
Not today.
Aw.
Dang.
Aw.
I guess there'll be blue balls in this pie today. But yeah, they're about to fuck in the kitchen, and she's like, "Let me just go tell Auntie Lee I'm here." He's like, "Make sure she doesn't come down here." I'm like, "Bitch, this is her house." And she's like, "Oh, don't worry, Auntie Lee's not one for menage a trois." I'm like, "This is gross." Like,
I know.
let's move on to the next scene, please.
And the thing is like all of their quote problems stem from this guy because this guy is like a little rich boy on the lam and has done all these terrible things. The father's hired a private investigator and all this bullshit. Like nothing ever goes anywhere. Like
It was
why are
so
we having
stupid
all
and
of these
pointless.
scenes with Larry running around with the cars?
Because he takes the
Why?
fall at the end, I guess.
I
And he
don't know.
doesn't even he gets blamed for the murders and doesn't even say it wasn't him. He's a good I guess good cover for those ladies because he was like, I'll take the fall for this one. I was like, wow,
Well,
Larry.
he knew that his sister was gonna have his back. I don't know if this is the first time we
True.
find out that they're related, because the final line of the movie is, "No one's gonna take my
Oh,
brother
be my
away from me."
brother.
Boom.
You get that cool
Um,
shot of the inside of the barrel of the gun. That was wild.
Yeah, that was pretty good. I did like that. There was
Good.
I forgot what other movies it was, but
There were some good shots in the film. Like, I mean, when he shot the priest in the head, that was a good
And the
part.
Yeah.
car
So
just careens off the road. I was like, damn, okay.
I know. And the priest has a car that looks like Cheech and Chong's car.
It
With all
does,
the
but
shit
it's just all
everywhere.
Jesus. Yeah, it's all just Jesus. I think he had a
Oh my
sticker
God.
that said, what did it say? It's like, my boss is a Jewish carpenter. I was like, oh boy.
I think I've
Oh
actually
my
seen
God.
that sticker here in Texas. But yeah, so honestly, I don't think I'll ever watch this again. It was
No,
okay. It was fine.
it was fine.
I'll stop picking movies. I just keep picking all these
I
terrible.
know. I would blame Doug. I can't even blame Doug. We have to blame
I
Austin.
need Doug. I need someone else to back me up with this movie. Damn it. I'm
You
all alone
boys
today.
just want to see your tits and your gore.
That's your point.
Doug would have had a lot of great things to say. Like, I think there are good elements of this film, and I love the casting, but it was too long. Like,
Yeah, that's probably its biggest sin. It's just being too long.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's honestly that's my only complaint. I was like, I paused it. I was like, hour 40. I was like, oh my god. Even though I like this movie, I was like, this is gonna be way too long, and it was in fact way too fucking long. Like you said,
Way too
Mikey,
long.
it should have been like 75, 80 minutes tops. Hour
Yeah, because
40.
then it would just be a fun, quick little
Yeah,
romp
in and out.
Fullerton,
In and
California.
out. Yeah, and that was the thing. Like, I paused it because I needed to watch the ending of Halloween Baking Championship because I was like, I'm so bored of this. I needed to. I put something on and then I put that one back on just to like get it over with. And I'm like, what the fuck is going? But I could see this actually. I could see somebody remaking this and making it a little bit darker and having more fun with it and not
Yeah.
and this could be good if you eliminated so many things. So, with the cover art, which is why I'm sure Austin bought it.
I bought it because of the name. I was like, what the fuck name is this?
Yeah,
Mm.
not
Sure,
because of the anal
Austin.
camel toe.
Yeah,
Mhm.
sure, Jan. No, I think if it was remade, they would have to tone down the cheesiness and up the camp. If you don't know what that means, I'm sorry, I can't help you. I'm a true horror fan. But we need better hair. We need better set designs. We need someone that understands how to fill an hour and 40 minutes if you're going to make it an hour and 40 minutes.
Yeah.
And then we need Jennifer Coolidge to play every old Karen Black character that's ever been out there.
Yes.
Should be amazing.
This is going to be on my letterbox because I did watch it, and I don't know what I'm going to give it yet. What is it out of 5, Adrian? In your feminazi perspective.
I give it a 2.5. I mean, I didn't hate it. I just don't think I didn't like it enough to watch it again, especially with the whole assault in the beginning. And that's my issue because you guys know I hate that. And then the first 2 minutes, that's what happens. And I'm like, God damn it. Like, what?
Yeah.
Although
those
you
meat
can't
pies were
even tell
salty.
it clearly. I mean, I know she liked it, so I don't
Maybe
know.
that's
Was
why
it
you
an
forgave
assault?
it, because it wasn't even I can't even say it wasn't even that graphic, because it wasn't even that graphic to say it was that graphic.
I mean, listen, a bad lay's a bad lay. If it was,
That's the true crime here. Um, Austin, what do you give Auntie
So
Millie's Hunger Pies or whatever it's called?
anti-memes, cream pies. I give it 4.5 out of 5. The only problem I had was the runtime. I cackled out loud probably like 6 or 7 times, and I just had so much fun with it. Besides the runtime, give me an 80-minute cut of this. Like, give me a director's cut where they cut out 30 minutes of this, and it'd be a 5-star movie. I love this movie. It was so ridiculous, so over the top, and I don't know, it's just a lot of fun. Except that, yeah, the people who wrote this literally wrote like porn, so that's probably why the writing sucked. And they also had Playboy bunnies as the actresses, which is probably why the acting wasn't that great. So redo this movie and do it completely different with, actually good story, actually good actors, up the camp. And I think it would be like, I would love to see this movie remade. That's actually a great idea. Let's do that, Mikey. Let's remake this movie.
Fine, but I'm playing Auntie May.
Okay. The only
Hey,
one I want to
if
play
they
her
re-
anyways.
if they remade this and they made Auntie Lee a drag queen but pretended she was full female, I would live for it. I would be
oh, that would be a lot of
opening
fun.
night. Yeah, Trixie. Let's
Trixie
call her.
Mattel.
I could see
We
it.
could- and Katya could be fun.
She has the breastplate. No, Katya's gonna be Larry.
Oh, Larry.
All
All right. Well, what about you, Mikey?
I don't know. I'm probably gonna go with around 2. This movie seems like something I would have watched. Like, there was a weird time in my life when I would wake up every morning at 2 and I wouldn't go back to bed till 5. So I would watch Netflix between 2 to 5 in the morning. And I was like, I'll deal with the consequences later. And this seems like something I would watch during that time, and I would be very fond of it because my emotional state was not 100%. And so I kind of appreciate it for that. Because like I saw that movie Hanger in that situation, and Hanger is gross and fucked up. But because I was in my whatever state I'm in between the hours of 2 a.m. to 5 a.m., I was like, that's fine. But yeah, I'm probably gonna give it a 2.
I'm gonna assume Doug would probably give this 5 out of 5 meat pies.
Yeah,
I
he
already know
would.
what Doug would say. Doug would just talk about everything he thought was funny. And
Yeah.
I would just be like,
I mean, it was funny. It was funny. I just think that like there's just too many things going on. Like you have to lean into one thing or the other, and then you're dealing with that. You're dealing with other black comedies like Death Becomes Her, like and Army of Darkness. How do you stand up to those? Right? Like you can't.
Yeah,
That's
especially when you're
So
dealing with such different budgets.
wild.
exactly.
Yeah, Death Becomes Her was awesome. That's such a good one.
Oh, so good, so good. So it is what it is. I don't hate this movie, but would I watch it again?
No.
Maybe
Maybe
put
in
it on
5
the
years.
background, like at a party. Like Doug said, it's a popcorn movie. You just put it on,
Yeah.
people are over, and just everyone just makes comments. Like that's fun. So I think it's good for
I'm
that.
forgiving a lot these days with 4K releases. Maybe if they released a 4K in like 2 years, I'd be like, okay, let's give it another watch in 4K.
Okay.
Well, the
Let
cover
me
art
see these.
alone
Let me
is
see this
great.
hair. This hair in 4K.
This air in 4K.
Well, it was okay. So the reason I think their hair was so bad because they're coming off the 80s bullshit. And
Yeah.
it's early 90s. So they're letting their hair go back to normal and the perms are growing out and now we're having all of this
Oh yeah,
hullabaloo
because
happening.
Karen Black has some severe rootage going on her hair.
All those perms were growing out. Like you couldn't just do it unless you cut your hair. I
Yeah.
mean, I had a perm. I had to cut that out. Like, let me tell you.
I begged my mom not to get her last perm. That was like 10 years ago. So it was fairly recent. And she didn't listen. She's like, oh, maybe a loose perm. It's not going to be like a poodle. And as soon as she came home, I was like, you are not proud of yourself, are you?
Well, my mom's husband gets perms still. So there's that.
Yeah. So does my friend. I was talking about this with my friend today at work. Her dad used to go to Mexico just to get perms. I don't know why. I do them here too. But yeah. But
I know, of course.
anyways,
Dan's got his little Jerry curl all natural, right, honey?
well, Dan's Jewish. She has
Right.
naturally luscious curls.
I know.
But you know what? We filled up a lot more time than I thought we were going to with this content. So
Oh.
good for us.
Goodbye, good day. No.
Yeah, with that, if you want to support us monetarily, you can join us on Patreon at patreon.com/slasherspod, where we have tiers from $1 all the way up to however much money you want to give us. So you can get access to exclusive episodes and early access to some shows. If you want to purchase anything from coffee cans to dental dams with the Slashers Podcast merchandise, you can go to Redbubble at slasherspod.redbubble.com. If you want to follow us on Instagram, you can follow Ade at pathologicallyade, me at horror and a half shell, or Austin at ilikeshittymovies.com. Just kidding, Austin. You can listen to Austin's podcast Frightmares wherever you listen to slashers, and you can follow him on Instagram and the TikTokies at Frightmares. Also, you can find him on Letterboxd at Dr. Proctor, and me on Letterboxd at Mikey and the T-Rex. Any parting words that I may have missed?
Uh,
We'll be back for week 3 of a November to Dismember with a movie that sure is gonna gut you like a fish. Understand?
oh, no,
go
this
ahead.
is week 3.
Huh?
This one's coming out for week 3.
Oh, just kidding. We will be back for week 4 of November to Dismember.
And when this comes out this week, it'll be Thanksgiving. So happy Thanksgiving, goons.
Yeah. Gobble gobble, motherfucker. Did we ever review Thanksgiving on this show?
It's like
I
someone made a fucking list of all the movies and gave it to you, and you never use it.
I
I
wish
know,
someone
because I always
would.
have to look at the list. You know what? No, I'm thankful that you did that, because I'm always scrolling through before that all of the episodes,
Someone
and I
did
was
that?
like, yes, Austin did that for us. This is the
Oh.
best.
Austin, why didn't you give it to me?
And it's so cute because whenever Lance suggests a movie, I was like, you know what? Why don't you ask Lance or Austin for the link? Because I don't know if we did that or not. And honestly, I'm not looking it up. Like, you figure it out. I don't have time for this shit.
I'm just kidding, Austin. I know you made that list, but it's just so long. I can't do it all by myself.
There's a lot of fucking movies on that list.
No, you know what? We had done too many. How many episodes have we had? It's insane. Like, I mean, this is a good thing. But now we're
Yeah.
getting to the point where we keep forgetting what we're doing because we've done fucking.
So many.
Yeah.
What
and
was
like
it?
we all came in at different times. So it's like, I don't know if y'all did this.
What was Doug's movie?
Oh, the Greasy Strangler.
The
that
Greasy Strangler.
He
was
reviewed twice on this
Yeah.
show without telling us.
supposed to remember.
So it wasn't
then
like
he
we
wa-
forgot.
He was just suggesting something else. I go, Doug, you guys already did that. Like, don't you remember? Like,
I
a
just let him
goober.
have it because it was his birthday.
I know that's true. That is true. Shit. Anyways,
Well,
no, we'll look up
anyways.
that. Anyways, happy Thanksgiving, goons.
Yes, happy Thanksgiving, goons.
Turkey
We will
Day.
see you next week. Maybe we'll have a special Thanksgiving episode for y'all. Who knows? We did it last
Woo!
year.
The next reveal. Yeah.
Yay.
Yay.
That may have been a hint to our next movie. So I'm going to stop the recording.
Please
Bye.
do.
Goodbye and oops, that's not my mouse. Goodbye and good. Where the fuck is the stop button? Die.